A female artist posted solid evidence of my boyfriend's cheating on Twitter. It was followed by a video. In the video, he entered the hotel with his arms around my waist and didn't come out until early in the morning. The female artist, Emma Wiley, officially announced their breakup. She wrote, "Andrew Bernard, I have never thought that you were such a person." The evidence was irrefutable, and it became a trending topic in an instant. Damn! Emma is awesome. How long had they been seeing each other? What a shame. In fact, I am deeply attracted by their appearances. No one is curious about the woman in the video. Putting down the phone, I just felt that everything was so ridiculous. I grew up with Andrew and we had been together for 8 years. But now, Emma had become his real girlfriend? Who was I to him? Less than half a day after Emma posted her tweet, someone dug me up on the internet. The paparazzi blocked the entrance of my company, and countless harassment messages poured in. The rumors and malice formed a dense net, almost drowning me. I hid in the company's bathroom and called Andrew countless times, but he didn't answer my call. I had no choice but to try to clarify it online. "You mean Emma is the other woman? Are you out of your mind? No wonder you are the other woman. You are so shameless that you come out to whitewash what you have done." As an ordinary person, I didn't get much attention on Twitter. There were only a few reviews, which scolded me for shifting the blame. The online abuse intensified. In half a day, I became a target of public criticism. Everyone scolded me for being the other woman. Taking a deep breath, I was about to send a message to ask for leave, but I received a message from the HR department instead. "Selena, your personal behavior has caused serious trouble for the company. You'd better have a rest for a while. You can come back to work after you deal with your personal affairs." Did she really want me to just have a rest for a while? I had been working for so many years, and I totally understood what she meant. My phone suddenly rang. "Stay out of this. I'll send someone to pick you up." It was Andrew. I couldn't help but recall the details of their love in Emma's tweet. My heart seemed to be stabbed by something. I read the message quietly for a few seconds and decided to follow his arrangement first. At least, I should ask him face to face and figure out what had happened. With the help of several people, I got into Andrew's minivan. Andrew was not in the car. His agent, Isabel Kaiser, glanced at me coldly. "You can stay in the hotel we have arranged for you these days and wait for the news from Andrew." I didn't say anything. I looked out of the window at the scenery that was constantly retreating, and my fingers unconsciously rubbed the watch on my wrist. "I saw the watch on your waist. Andrew also has one," said Isabel suddenly. "You have been together for almost 8 years," she said in a flat tone. "Every Valentine's Day, he will order a pair of couple watches from abroad. He is really into you." I was in a daze. There was a reason why Andrew and I wore the watches. When we were young, Andrew and I were the most unwanted kids in the neighborhood. His mother had an affair with someone else and abandoned her family. His father often beat him after drinking, and Andrew was even once sent to the hospital because of hard beating. I had no parents. I had been living with my mentally ill grandma since I was a child. People always pointed at my nose and cursed, "Your grandma is insane." "So do you." Whenever it happened, Andrew would stand out and raise his fist to hit them hard. Because we were eager to be well ahead of others, we had the best academic performance among the kids in our neighborhood. That day, when I was sick, my grandma made cereal for me and forgot to turn off the gas, which caused the fire at home. Fortunately, Andrew came to my house and wanted to do the homework with me. He found it in time and calmly asked others to help put out the fire. However, both Andrew and I burnt our wrists. After we were together, we lived a hard life. On the first Valentine's Day that we spent together, he bought a pair of couple watches with the money he had saved for a long time. That night, he whispered in my ear. I could feel his hot and moist breath on my neck. "Selena, I swear I will create a better future for you." Later, he was scouted to act in his first TV drama and made his name. He really had the ability to create a better future for me. Every year after that, he would give me a couple's watch for Valentine's Day. Yet, he didn't give it to me this year. To be precise, he didn't even celebrate Valentine's Day with me. I made a fancy dinner at home and waited for him the whole night. Where was he? According to Emma's tweet, on Valentine's Day, the movie wrapped and everyone in the crew was drinking to celebrate. They sneaked out and had fun in the amusement park like an ordinary couple. At the top of the Ferris wheel, Andrew kissed her tentatively with his mask on, and she took off their masks and kissed him back with a smile. 2. I stayed in the hotel for 2 days. In the past 2 days, I forced myself not to log into Twitter, nor did I contact anyone. On the 3rd day, Andrew finally appeared. I had a fever and went to drink water with the help of the door frame. When I raised my head, I met Andrew's dark eyes. He looked thinner but stronger, dressed in black. He stood there coldly. I leaned against the door weakly. It suddenly occurred to me that today marked the 8th anniversary of our relationship. On the anniversary of last year, Andrew was on vacation. We planned to travel to Suzerain. When we arrived at the airport, we met the paparazzi who were waiting for us. It was a female artist who appeared at the airport by accident to save us in such a critical moment. Why does she appear together with Andrew? Didn't she publicly confess her love for Andrew last month? Are they really dating? The paparazzi rushed up, squeezed me out of the crowd, and surrounded her and Andrew, striving to take photos and get a cracking story. The female artist was good at foxmints. When she saw what happened, she blushed immediately. The crew is off today. We are just celebrating together. Seeing that Andrew didn't refuse, she deliberately leaned against his chest as if she was embarrassed. As for Andrew, he looked down at her with a smile, and his eyes were gentle. The airport suddenly became bustling and filled with deafening heckling. Yet, Andrew turned his head to look in my direction, with an apologetic look in his eyes. In the evening, Andrew and that female artist still occupied the top trending topics. But what about me? I wanted to post the travel photos on Twitter, but I didn't even dare to include the address. I was afraid that if anyone found out about my Twitter account in the future, it would have an impact on Andrew. At night, Andrew held me in his arms with his chin against my head, saying firmly and solemnly, "Wait a little longer, Selena. On the anniversary next year, I will announce to everyone that you are my girlfriend." 3. I snapped back to reality. When I was about to say something, Isabel suddenly appeared from behind and gave me a thorough frisk. She didn't find anything and then left. Are you afraid that I have hidden the recorder pen? However, as if nothing had happened, Andrew smiled and said, "Selena, I miss you so much." I suddenly wanted to laugh and feel confused at the same time. After the anniversary, it had been a long time since we last met. He was occupied with filming. I could only tell myself that I had to learn to understand him. One day, when I was lying on the sofa, I couldn't help but complain on my Instagram, saying that I really wanted someone to keep me company. To my surprise, when I opened my eyes, I really saw Andrew. He checked my Instagram and caught a flight here overnight. When I opened the door and saw him, I was surprised and kissed him like crazy. He smiled and slowly unbuttoned his shirt. "I miss you too. I miss you badly." In the end, I grabbed his arm and gasped for air, just like a dying fish eager for water. Because Andrew had to shoot a scene the next morning, he left before dawn. I stood in the empty house and looked out of the window at his receding back. Suddenly, I found that he had left his suitcase. As soon as I opened it, I found that it was full of my favorite snacks. There was a photo at the bottom of the snacks. It was the autographed photo of one of my favorite drama actors. I had heard from a die-hard fan on Twitter that Andrew had cancelled several activities and especially learned the drama for 3 months. It turned out that it was because of me. Later, even if the gossip about him and Emma had been blazed all over the daily papers, I was willing to believe him. I really wondered why Andrew and I had come to this point. Don't you want to explain about that tweet and Emma? Explain what? Rumors have it that you fell in love with each other on the set of the movie, but I never doubt you. You said it was a publicity stunt, and I also believe it. But now, if you really fall in love with Emma, just tell me directly and we can break up. Why did you lie to me? Do you think it's exciting to have an affair with another woman behind my back? Why do you put me in this situation? Andrew looked at me and said nothing. Do you know how I have been these days? Do you know what the netizens said about me? I tried to speak, but my throat was dry, and I could utter no words for a while. Andrew, some so-called dirt was even released by you, right? Selena, it's not what you think, said Andrew calmly. His face darkened. I looked at him and didn't know how to react. In the past, Andrew would risk his life because someone said a harsh word to me. But now, facing the more terrible insults on the internet, he chose to stand idly by and even added fuel to the flames. After all, Only when he shifted the blame to me could his team have enough time to deal with the current problems. Looking at the man in front of me, I seemed to be extremely tired all of a sudden. I didn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. Andrew, let's break up. I disagree. Andrew grabbed my hand tightly and tried to touch my face, but I avoided him coldly. As for Emma, Andrew stopped for a while as if he couldn't find an excuse. He lit a cigarette irritably and answered after a long time. I was also afraid of fire after that fire in my childhood. There was a blasting scene in the film at that time, and I couldn't get in gear at all. It was Emma who encouraged me all the time. In that film, I was deeply entangled with the role she played. I have never been so involved in it. I can't get out of it for a while. He suddenly put out the cigarette and became more irritable and gloomy. I saw his action and burst into laughter. Do you mean that you were just obsessed with her and never had a crush on her? Andrew was silent. I stared at him and asked, have you slept with her? Andrew's face turned pale. I've been waiting for you the whole night on Valentine's Day. I called you, but you didn't answer. You were with her, weren't you? Andrew looked at me speechlessly. His lips moved, but he didn't say anything. Suddenly, my throat itched. I covered my mouth and coughed violently. A cold hand reached out to my forehead. You have a fever? With a frown, Andrew picked up his phone and was about to make a call. I'll ask someone to send the fever reducer. Looking at his worried face, I felt woozy in my stomach. I turned my head and retched. Don't shed crocodile tears. You make me sick. A hint of remorse flashed through his eyes. He stared at me for a few seconds, and suddenly held my waist and took me to the sofa. I wanted to struggle. His fingers moved from my waist to my back and pressed it unexpectedly, forcing me to lie on his chest. Selena. His deep and hoarse voice fell from the top of my head as if there was a trace of inexplicable coldness. You said that no matter what happened, you would never leave me. Seeing that he was about to kiss me, I had to struggle desperately. If you still have a little respect for me, let me go. Andrew froze for a moment, and then he finally let go of me. I'm so sorry. The room quieted down. I looked at him. I will break up with you peacefully, and I won't use any information about you to make things worse on the internet. But the premise is that you must tell the truth, clarify all the facts, and prove my innocence. After a moment of silence, Andrew's Adam's apple did a quick bob. No, Selena, I have made a response. The public will not be interested in these things for too long. As long as you compromise again, this matter will be completely over. Compromise again? I interrupted him. What do you mean? As if I suddenly had figured out something, I clicked on Twitter, which I didn't dare to click on for a long time. With my trembling hands, the top trending topic was a response from Andrew. I'm sorry to take up public resources, so I have to apologize to everyone here first. Selena and I used to be a couple. Because of some problems, we had to split up. Later, because of the shooting, I got together with Emma. I didn't know the reason why Selena broke up with me until I met her again. She suffered from a hereditary disease in her family. That night, she came to me because she was sick and mistook us for not breaking up. In addition, it was too dark at that time, which caused a visual deviation. So I'm sorry that I didn't tell Emma about it in advance. I have to apologize to Emma. After Selena sobered up, she also felt very sorry. She would officially clarify this matter to everyone. I stared at the screen blankly. So, you came to me today. Do you want me to admit to everyone that I'm a psycho? It was me, a psychotic ex, who harassed you,